was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without your face. But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a sinking ship, and you're just a pair of lips that I've lost in the moment. All I want is for you to come back. Now I'm caught in the middle of life, and I need you to survive.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your host, your brother, and your friend Rashid, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining me on another episode of the most powerful platform for truth, bar none, on God's green earth. This is your platform for education, elevation, and edification. This is the Red Pill Diaries. Now, check this out. As I talked to Carl told me that give him a little time. He has to drop his child off at work, at school. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So, um, we have to make for that time or whatever. So please be patient for him to make it on the show. I would really appreciate that. Okay. If not, again, things happen. We keep pushing. Now, uh, this is the war report. So we're going to deal with things that deal with war, economics, politics, geopolitics. Now, if there are any, if there's any buffering, if there's any, I'm talking about any drops, it's not on this end. Period. Not. I mean, we just had the people send signals through the computers, through the modems, everything. We've done it an hour before, and I did it about 20 minutes before, so it's not on our end. And I can turn the thing around and show you that it says connection is excellent. Okay, so it's not on our end. Now, we just saw that Iran and Israel traded strikes. Okay, now I'm going to back up a little bit, and I'm going to talk about something. And now I see that it's catching on now, because I raised these questions on a couple shows that I just had about the kabuki theater of Donald Trump and how he continues to masquerade as this tough guy, as this guy that is definitely in charge, and Bibi Netanyahu does it too. And so I told you it was kind of strange that the argument was leaked between the two, and it happened at a time that both were catching flack about things that were going on, and what it did, it put Trump in a light of trying to look as though he has control over the situation, and also that at the same time Israel is acting outside of the guard and control of the United States, right? And at the same time, it shows Bibi is in control, and that he's doing what's in the best interest of the Zionists, right? So when you look at those things, when you look at a crime, you look for motive, opportunity, and who benefits the most, right? Well, we know the motive. The motive was the tanking poll numbers, the demands for the cease for the war, the demands for the cease for the sanctions, the demand for diplomacy, right? Right. So we know one of the motives, right? Is that not right? If the tanking poll numbers were major, okay? So it's what? Motive, opportunity. We know that they had this opportunity between the both of them to hash out a plan that both would look strong, both would look um, um, bucking up against the other one, and both would look as though they're independent of the other, right? And they took that opportunity and sprung it on the masses of the people, so that it would look as though that America has zero say over Israel's action, and that Israel is going to do whatever Israel wants. Now, let me tell you something. There's a song. It's an old song that used to come out. It's an old R&B song. It was a big R&B song. It was you have you have to have a Job if you want to be with me, right? That's an old R&B song. And a Carl is in the building. My guy, I told you Carl will be here. I told you. I told you guys I got to add Carl in the booth. Let me see. I'm working. Hold on one second. Hi, my guys in there. Let me bring them on.
Hi,
How's it going
Rashid.
today, Carl?
How are you?
I, I'm doing pretty good. Carl, I was just addressing the people, and I was telling them about this kabuki theater that went on between Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. This so-called argument that took place behind closed doors that was conveniently leaked when both poll numbers were down, when both were under pressure, when both needed a way out, and when both um, from both populists were saying that each one of them was the puppet of the other one, and this just so happened to come out right at the right time to benefit both of them. What do you have to say about this mess, Carl?
Yeah, I mean, people need to understand there's no investigative journalism in Washington right now. Everything is access journalism. So, what that means, if it's leaked for a reason. And the reason, as you mentioned, is this kabuki theater, like, oh, like there's some drama between uh, Trump and Netanyahu. That's nonsense. There's no daylight between these two. They are doing what they can to create distraction. You know, Trump, for his part, he's trying to move away from the Epstein file, which he has very successfully been doing by launching the
Mm-hmm.
Iran war. And Netanyahu is trying to get out of jail, right? So these two are working toward a common goal here, and their common goal again is to further Israeli interests in the Middle East. The United States is fighting this war uh, on behalf of Israel because this is how they see it. This is a greater Israel project is coming into being. They have talked about this for decades. You know, like they had this a new map for Middle East project that was back in what, like 1996 or 1997 that was first proposed to Netanyahu by Daniel Pike, uh, a rabid Zionist. This the jig is up. They're now seeking safe haven for their oil dollars, and so money is now actually flowing to China, into Southeast Asia, where they seek to park it. And this is why ultimately the AI bubble will not be able to be sustainable in the United States for a host of reasons. One of the reasons is the money will eventually dry up. Two, and the whole premise is completely flawed because their idea is we're just gonna build.
I remember some Chinese officials over the years had been saying that exact same thing long before the war broke out in West Asia. They had been warning that U.S. bases will not make these nations safer, but will make them targets for Chinese retaliation, massive retaliation. The Chinese officials said. But I want you to listen to this short clip here.
Why are there so many wars in 2025? Well, do you want my real answer or do you want my diplomatic answer? My real answer is the US has a defense budget that is bigger than the next 8 largest countries combined. After 9/11, the US entered into something like a permanent wartime economy, where if we didn't have a war to fight and to finance, we would actually go into recession. Now, we see ourselves as the world's peacekeepers. In many cases, we're not. We tend to be places where we're not wanted or welcome, and we end up right in the middle of all of our military bases. There you have it.
Your opinion on that?
I mean, how can argue with facts? That's just factually true. United States right now is the economy is being propped up by constant infusion of foreign capital who are seeking safe haven. And the reason they're seeking safe haven is because United States is making everywhere else unstable. Um, and this will go on with all the AI companies as well.
Is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
No matter what happens in this election, for years to come, there are many people on the right, in the media, and voters at large that are going to be having to explain and justify how they fell into this trap.
Hot soon, because it seems like okay, it's a little bit warm. Maybe it will get better, but it's not getting better. It's only gonna get hotter from here, and irrational exuberance can stay longer than people can stay solvent. It's true, but once it stops, man, once that music stops, that's collapse will be spectacular. You are falling off of a cliff. You know, right now we are basically like building up potential energy. You know, you're going like it's like a roller coaster in the amusement park. You're going up, up, up. You're like your heart is tightening. You can see you're going up, up, up. But like, man, like right now we're on a steady climb phase. Once it drops, whew, it's all the way down.
Man, thank you so much, Carl, for joining me. I'll send you the video. Hey, be blessed and be safe for you and your family, man. I appreciate everything.
Thank you, Rashid. Anytime.
All right. Everybody listen, hit the like button, subscribe. Also go to Carl's podcast and subscribe. Also, the Silk and Steel podcast. I want to say join us also tomorrow at 1 CST time, Central Standard Time. We'll have Matthew Eric, journalist, writer, author, and host of the Canadian Patriot podcast on the platform. So join us there. And Wednesday we'll have John Helmer back on the platform, and we'll have sometime this week. We're supposed to have either Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, or we're supposed to have Salim Mansour, Professor Salim Mansour, back on the platform. We're doing big things for you guys. Also, check us out on all our platforms. Support the channel. Like, subscribe, share the video, share everything. Go to our Patreon, subscribe. We're going to have a few more articles drop this week and another video. And I also want you all to know, I have to say this ad nauseum. Do right by others, not because there's some material gain to be had, but do right by others because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember that God Almighty is watching you. And as my late, great, and beautiful, and wonderful mother would always say, God sits high on the throne of power, but he looks low at the actions of man. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth. But know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true. But above all things, remember to stay righteous, because righteousness is the only thing that's going to get you out of here. Hey, mama, your baby boy still loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody. Deuces, we're out of here. Peace.